Welcome everyone, this is the 31 Days of Dread, and I am your host, Peter A. DeLuca, aka PAD, and this is where we do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. That's 30, if you can't count, that's 31 movies celebrating the greatest genre of them all, the greatest experimentational platform of them all, the greatest young filmmaker discoverer of them all. It is horror, 31 days coming at you. Look out, ghouls and ghosts, it gets spooky. Alright everyone, coming out of that intro hot, this is what I call the telethon portion of the podcast. This is where I pitch myself to you for your support. Your support means everything to me because we're fighting, the AKAPAD army is fighting against algorithms everywhere. Algorithms, I ate some cereal earlier today, I dumped it into my bowl and it was full of algorithms. Okay, bad joke. Alright. Sharing this podcast, telling your friends about it, leaving comments, leaving reviews. This is how we grow AKAPAD's audio audacity. Your support there is more valuable than anything other than like a high five in person, because I'd love a high five in person. Hello everyone, welcome, happy Halloween. It's the 31 Days of Dread. I'm Peter A. DeLuca, aka the Eclectic One, talking to you about the greatest horror franchise of all time. It is Scream. If you say something really quick, people believe it to be true. But no, really, in my deep down heart of hearts, there's no 3-movie block that. I mean, maybe at one time it was Hellraiser. When it comes to horror, I really enjoyed Friday the 13th. I think it was 4, 5, and 6. Freddy Krueger, the later movies, because they kind of act as an inner series trilogy. Always Alien 1, 2, and 3. But that's not really a trilogy. It's tough. It's more like the story of Ripley, but there's no resolution at the end of Alien 3. But this movie, Scream 2, classifies what we want in the middle movie. It tells us, because Scream will talk to the audience, it explains what to expect within the sequel while you're watching the sequel to later subvert everything, but then still deliver it. We see this in the third movie when they say, look, there's new revelations, things were there from the beginning to wrap up a trilogy, and that's what we get in the third one. And this movie, my absolute favorite storyline, because there's a few of them, is Cottonberry. His plight to Sydney, who is what's his name? Not Courtney Cox. Neve Campbell. Neve Campbell's character and Liev Schreiber. Their relationship is complex. His plight to her is, in my really, it's realistic. He wants publicity from her to clear his name so he can get on with his life. He's looking for a second step, a year or two transition. I think it's 1 year between Scream and Scream 2. So in a way, Scream 2 is also a real-time sequel, but he spent a year in jail. She put him in jail, and we're still dealing with the fallout of the rape and murder of her mother. So the villain, Scream's villains work in 2. One of them is Billy Loomis's mother. We have this Greek tragedy, backset. Neve Campbell's character is in stage production. She's an actress. The finale of the movie is in, again, a Greek play. That's a mirror being held up to itself. I think that is part of the DNA of Scream. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like the play sequence in this. They get how much of a metaphor and allegory it's supposed to be. I'm fine with it. And then we have more turmoil between real life couple with David Arquette and Courtney Cox, where it off screen it takes them like 3 movies to fall in love and get together, which is pretty freaking cool. Gail Weathers, Courtney Cox's character, is back for more. She's reporting, she's digging, and it's like this slow drip of all the same tricks from the first movie. Boyfriend gets arrested, boyfriend gets accused. We know it can't be the boyfriend, but can it be the boyfriend again? Okay, like it gets you. Jada Pinkett Smith in the opening sequence, which is the Stab movie like premiere or opening night, is freaking awesome. The whole idea of what Stab becomes more of a background character or background event in Scream 3, but Stab is basically Scream, but everything glows in the dark. it's beyond freaking cool. It's hard for me not to put this in one of the best sequels of all time. Within the context of the movie, they're arguing about the greatest sequel of all time. Before the age of great sequels were to emerge, something that every single film commentary discussioner misses. I'm sorry, everyone. We're in the golden age of sequels. Sequels are freaking amazing as of right now. So that list is more competitive, but at the time was really like Aliens, Godfather 2, Terminator 2. There was a couple good side tangent like call outs in this film discussion class. I'm forgetting some of them. But the whole idea is that this movie knew what it was and knew what it had to address, and addresses it during the freaking movie. Again, this is why Scream can never be replicated. This is why Scream is special. We cannot make like a meta masterpiece again. I think Scream does it so well. I think everything else will be imitation, unless it's like an imitation of Scream within a Scream movie that doesn't include Stab, or it does include Stab. Like taking a real world approach, meaning, you know what? That's a thought. I'm not even gonna get there. I did have the thought though, just for the record. But no, I cannot recommend Scream 2 enough. I cannot recommend Scream 1 enough. I would like, if the storyline doesn't click in your head, it may be because it's not because you're stupid. You may not be able to see through it, and the best way to see through a movie so that it does soak in, so that there is a level of anticipation when you watch and rewatch it, you may have to watch the movie until you predict and you understand what exactly is happening, because this movie, like all sequels, is packed with new and old characters. There's a lot of through lines, there's a lot of storylines, but everything has a resolution, everything has an end until we reach Scream 3. And that's the freaking like amazing part. But storyline wise, we have an arc by Cotton Weary, who's played by Liev Schreiber. We have Neve Campbell becoming more and more independent, more and more on her own. She is opening up to the world after being traumatized twice by the end of the first movie. And then we have like culture and society as a whole that seems to be worshipping the movie Stab. And then when these like Hillsborough murders, Courtney Cox also published a book between the two movies, but it's called the Hillsborough Murders. It's not called Scream in the Scream universe. Like her and her ambition, there is a obsession. There is a National Enquirer, Gawker type of obsession with this death rollout. This is what I mean about the movie. Is it's commentary on so many different levels, and each one of these levels is sophisticated. Big shout out to David Arquette, who, if you watch his documentary, he made like a good coming to terms with wrestling documentary. But essentially in his documentary, he says that like he was typecast as a Deputy Dewey after these movies because he performed the role too well. He was too convincing. You hear this a lot with with Dwight from The Office, that guy, which I can't remember his name. Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes. Rainn Wilson. But no, and this is a true thing that happens. You can be pigeonholed by doing too well of a job. David Arquette, his whole career was put on hold because he did too good of a job with Scream 1. Think about that. That's to be considered. That's also why we want to appreciate this movie a little bit more, because we want to give David Arquette a little bit of payback. But no, people, anyone that tells you that this isn't legit, they don't understand the story. They really don't. They haven't given it time. This is why we do long-form conversation here on the 31 Days of Dread. Everyone, Peter A. DeLuca signing out. Just be ready. Scream 3 is coming. It's dropping. We will also do Scream 4, but not a part of the 31 Days of Dread. That's just going to be a separate podcast drop. Okay, everyone? I love you. Thanks for hanging out. And to continue this telethon where we're not talking about high fives, there's other ways to support me. I'm a living professional. I'm a full-time freelancer. Anything you see on this, like here on this podcast, or see my social media, I make everything. It's all made by me. That's a part of my pitch to you. And you can purchase professional services through AKAPAD.com. That's a pipeline to me if you want to send me a message. But also while you're there, you can sign up for my newsletter. You're going to get deals. You're going to get coupons. You're going to get 2 free trading cards mailed to you free worldwide. And they're 2 Wolfpack trading cards, 2 original characters, for upcoming comic book work. And speaking of comic books, you can go to Etsy, type in Uzi Susie, and that's where you're going to find my mini comic. You can purchase existing issues and pre-order upcoming issues along with bundles if you missed any, like issue 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. There, Uzi Susie is waiting for you. And keep an eye on Indiegogo. A lot of my bigger comic book projects will be available through Indiegogo. All of those updates will be here on this podcast. So if you're a regular listener, I'll let you know. We can rock and roll from there. So everyone, thank you so much, and feel free to reach out to me on social media, AKAPad69, Instagram, and Xbox. That's right, you can play Halo with me. Just straight up AKAPad on Twitter, straight up AKAPad on the Facebook. My business page is there. My personal page is there. Hey, be a personal friend of mine. I don't care. Let's talk movies. Let's talk creativity. Let's talk fun, and just who cares? Do you like, the Transformer movies? I love them. We can talk about that all night. So meet me there, and we'll rock and roll. Let's get talking. We got a movie to discuss.